Hey my cookies, today we are making a bread pudding with a buttery bourbon sauce, and I'm not even gonna waste your time. We gotta get into this deliciousness, so let's cook. Here I have 1 loaf of day-old French bread that I'm going to slice up into 1-inch pieces using a serrated knife. We need hard kind of toasted bread, so I'm going to spray a baking sheet with some non-stick spray, and we're going to bake this French bread until it toasts up. So I'm putting it into a 350-degree oven for 8 minutes just to make it nice and toasty so that it absorbs the liquid better. While our bread is toasting up, we're going to work on our pudding. I'm adding in some eggs. And to my eggs, I'm adding in some granulated sugar and some brown sugar. Don't worry, the ingredients, measurements, all of that good stuff will be in that link in the description box. And we're going to whisk this together well. Now we add cinnamon and a little allspice, or you can use nutmeg. Don't forget the vanilla extract and a pinch of salt. Give it a mix. Pour in that heavy cream, and I don't want to hear anything about a diet, because if you're making bread pudding, you ain't on no doggone diet. Now add in some whole milk as well. Now pour in some melted butter, but make sure that it has cooled and come to room temperature. We don't want scrambled egg pudding. And mix it good. And by now our bread is good and toasty, so let's add that to the mixture. Once all of our bread is in the bowl, we want to take a spoon and press it into that pudding sauce, whatever you want to call it. Push that bread down in there. My mama would use her hands, but I am not that committed. So we're going to use the spoon, press the bread down in here, and then we're just going to let it soak for 30 minutes. Okay, after 30 minutes, we're going to grease our 13x9 baking pan. And we're going to spread this bread pudding mixture into the pan. Make sure you get it in there evenly. And we're going to go ahead and bake it in a 350-degree oven for about 50 to 60 minutes, just until it sets. Now let's get lost in the sauce. In the bowl here, I have some brown sugar and granulated sugar that I'm just mixing to combine. Now I'm adding in some cornstarch. This is going to help our sauce thicken. Make sure you mix your sugar and cornstarch really well, because we don't want it to lump up when we start to add the liquid. So make sure you mix the sugars with the cornstarch very well. Now on the stove, we're going to melt some butter in our saucepan. Once the butter melts, we're going to pour in our sugar mixture and whisk it together well. Now add in the heavy cream. Then we're going to whisk it really well as it comes up to temperature. Turn it up a little bit, about to medium high, because we want to bring it to almost a simmer. We cannot have bourbon sauce without some bourbon. Pour in that whiskey. Lastly, I added a splash of vanilla and also a pinch of salt off camera. The salt just adds a little bit of to the sauce. You know what I mean? Maybe not. But anyway, give it a good stir, and now we're going to bring it up to a simmer like this. Once it reaches this stage, lower the heat and let it boil for 5 minutes. If it looks like it's boiling over, just throw a wooden spoon on top of it and you'll be cool, okay? Once it thickens up, turn your heat off and let's check on our bread pudding. Cookies, look at this. You'll know it's done when you give it a jiggle and it does that. Y'all, you need to let it, cool out for a bit, but y'all know I ain't got time for all that. So I went ahead and spooned me a little bit out. I had to test it for you guys. And we definitely can't forget about this bourbon sauce. Don't worry, we cooked all the alcohol out, so it won't get you lit, maybe. But it is so delicious. Cookies, that's it for our bread pudding recipe. As always, the recipe link will be down there in the description box. Thank you so much for watching, cookies. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this. I'll talk to you later. I gotta eat. Be blessed.